Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Boys, Season 1. Welcome to a world with superheroes, alright. But this is not your PG-13 Avengers. Things get very dark and extremely gory. I'm gonna keep this recap advertiser-friendly though, so don't worry, you're safe with me. Meet Huey Campbell, a mild-mannered electronics salesman. He's got a girlfriend Robin, and they are very happy together till one day, oh, what? It's one of those gory scenes I can't show, as she was run over by a speedster hero, basically like being hit by a train, very scarring for poor Huey. He gives the standard corporate apology, and Huey's offered a small settlement if he signs the non-disclosure agreement, but Huey doesn't for now, and so the next day his life changes when he meets Carl Urban as Billy Butcher. He acts basically like an R-rated Captain Jack Sparrow. He curses in every single sentence. He claims to be with the FBI on a special task force who brings soups to justice. Yes, superheroes are mega celebrities, not just fighting crime, but starring in movies, brand deals, all that jazz. They get up to all sorts of bad stuff, but it's often just swept under the rug because money. The superhero mega corporation is Vought. They manage hundreds of little heroes across the country, but the big money makers are the Seven, basically the Justice League. One of the Seven, Lamplighter, has just retired, so the search is on for his replacement. Meet Annie. She's a small-town superhero from Iowa, goes by Starlight because she's got light beam powers, and she is chosen for the Seven, so overnight she's one of the 7 most famous people on the planet. On her first night, she meets the Deep, the Aquaman guy. He was her favorite growing up, but don't meet your heroes because he immediately demands sexual favors from her. He gives her the whole, hey, gotta do what I say or I'll have you kicked right off the team, which is freaking awful. But come on, not all superheroes can be this bad, right? Not Homelander, the Superman type, truth, justice, and the American way. Publicly, he is a paragon of heroism, but being basically a god has given him zero regard for human life. In fact, he enjoys killing people, kind of a psychopath. His handler at Vought is Madeline Stillwell, a pretty high-up executive. When the mayor of Baltimore tries to lowball a deal because he knows some of Vought's dirty secrets, Homelander pays a visit to his plane and, oh, Laser Eyes crashes this thing! Yeah, evil Superman is very scary. So Butcher's got a plan to bring him down. He'll have Huey go in for a personal apology, and while he's signing the NDA, will plant a bug at the table. But Huey's no master spy. He drops the bug when he was getting it out, and who's creeping in the bathroom? It's the Invisible Man type, Translucent. He follows Huey back to work, roughs him up a bit, about to kill him, but oh, Billy Butcher crashing in. Fighting soups is what he does.
Well. That ain't the Invisible.
Except fighting an invisible man is very difficult, but together they manage to electrocute him and take him down. Huey's like, oh my god, Translucent tried to kill us, you gotta call this in, but Butcher confesses he's not actually with the FBI and technically they're criminals. So Butcher recruits one of his old friends, Frenchie, who is a mad genius superhero killer. Unfortunately, Translucent has diamond skin. He's basically invincible, nothing can penetrate it. But finally Frenchie figures it out, his skin may be impermeable, but they shove a bomb up his butt. Yeah, that would probably do it. Translucent starts talking, tells him all about A-Train's secrets, but he almost escapes and Huey has to decide if he's a killer or not. He's about to let Translucent go, but then remembers what A-Train did to Robin, and boom, blows him up! It's another of those very gory scenes. Then Butcher goes to recruit another old friend, only known as Mother's Milk, MM. He's reluctant to join the team. He's got a serious girlfriend now, who he's always on the phone with, but he does join, and the boys are back together. Now, the info they got on A-Train was about his secret girlfriend, Popclaw. She's kind of a D-list superhero, was famous years ago for her sexy movies. Huey manages to hack the cameras in her apartment so the boys are watching when A-Train comes over and they're doing some drug, Compound V. It's a super steroid which A-Train needs for his big race to prove he's still the fastest man alive. The boys are infiltrating, but when Huey sees Starlight, turns out he knows her. Yeah, they just had a random meet cute on a park bench. She's very happy to hang out with a normal guy like Huey. Being in the Seven has continued to disappoint. Even the fighting crime and saving people, theoretically the whole point, is basically all staged just for the social media likes. Anyway, it's the Speedster Race, which is a little anticlimactic because they just do one lap, but A-Train wins because he's juicing. The boys weren't able to steal his Compound V, but Popclaw's got some, and she's doing it right now, getting all jacked up. Just then, her landlord comes over to collect the rent, and they've worked out an arrangement where he gets to live out his superhero sexual fantasies. It's another scene I can't show any of, but basically because she's jacked up on Compound V, she loses control and accidentally kills this guy. But that's good news for the boys. They've got some serious blackmail on her now and get her to tell them everything she knows about Compound V. They go to the spot where A-Train picks it up, but there's something else here, a locked up young woman. Frenchie decides to let her go, but turns out she was locked up for good reason. She's a soup and is a feral crazed killer. Frenchie thinks he can reach her with kindness though. He keeps trying and she keeps proving to be unreachable. He and Mother's Milk have a big fight. The boys are about to disband, but Butcher steps in with one of the funniest pep talks of all time. He goes into deep detail about the Spice Girls and what their solo careers have been like since the band broke up. Moral of the story being, apart we're useless, but put us together.
Spice Girls.
Now, it's a big problem for A-Train that Popclaw talked. It's a complicated relationship. He really loves her, but she's too much of a liability now, and oh, he kills her, makes it look like an overdose. So sad for him. Her security camera, though, did catch Frenchie, so hunting him down is one of the 7, Black Noir. He's a very funny minor character because he never says anything or takes off his mask, but he's in a bunch of hilarious random scenes. He's about to kill Frenchie though, but he's saved by, oh, the feral girl. They have a bit of a superhero fight where Black Noir wins. It looks like he's killed her, but oh, she's got regeneration powers, she's okay. Vought's big goal right now is to get their superheroes into the military, get those sweet military contracts, but the politicians are all against it. But a great opportunity arises when a plane gets hijacked in international waters. If they can go save it, it'll go a long way for public support. So Homelander flies up there. Don't worry everyone, you're saved. But in the cockpit, Homelander gets a little trigger happy with his laser eyes and totally wrecks the controls. Oops. Queen Maeve is like, hey, do the Superman thing where you get under the plane and fly it to safety, but he's like, yo, that's just not how physics works. So there's nothing they can do. They watch this plane crash, which is spilt milk for Homelander, but Queen Maeve at least is starting to have a crisis. Now Annie and Huey start dating. He's really falling for her, but on Butcher's insistence, he does bug her phone. She takes him as her date to the Believe Expo, which is a big ol' Jesus fest. As a good Christian girl, Starlight did a bunch of these growing up, especially pressured by her mother, who's a classic pageant mom. But with her fresh new perspective about how awful a lot of things in the world are behind the scenes, she realizes that this brand of Christianity is all about homophobia and hate. So when it's her turn to make her big praise Jesus speech, she just can't do it. Instead has a real talk from the heart, including calling out the Deep for sexually harassing her on her first day of work. She had a conversation with the Deep earlier where she put him in his place, and somehow he transitioned into a comic relief character. He had a wacky side adventure where he tried to rescue a dolphin from Ocean World, but there was no seatbelt, so dolphin out the window! Then after his public sexual harassment scandal, he's unofficially demoted from the Seven and sent to Sandusky, Ohio, where he tries to rescue a lobster, but also gets it killed. Also, the reason he never takes his vest off is because he's got super gross gills. So we leave him in Ohio, a broken man who's shaving his head while crying. Now back to the Believe Expo, it's led by the Christian superhero Ezekiel, who's got stretchy man powers, but like most superheroes and real-life celebrity preachers, he's a huge hypocrite and the boys are gonna blackmail him. Huey goes in for a private baptism, but he's never blackmailed anyone before, and at first it doesn't go so well, but eventually he gets the hang of it. They learn that Compound V is being given to babies to turn them into supers. This leads to a wonderful fight scene where Butcher uses the laser eye baby as a weapon.
That was diabolical!
The boys find out this isn't new. In fact, no superheroes are born naturally. They were all made this way. Homelander's all-American backstory is a complete fabrication. He was raised in a lab. This explains his weird relationship with Madeline that is somewhat sexual but also kind of motherly. She's like, who's my good boy? It's weird. Made even weirder because she's just had a real-life baby and Homelander is like super jealous of it. Now Feral Girl is less feral, but she still can't talk, so to find out her story, they bring her to Haley Joel Osment. He's a mind-reading superhero, Mesmer, who much like real life was a big child star. Long story short, they get him to read the girl, whose name is Kimiko. Turns out she was drafted into a People's Liberation Army. Yeah, Frenchie, your girlfriend's a terrorist. They now understand Vought's evil plan to create a superpowered terrorist, then the government would have to let the Supes into the military. They have enough evidence now to bring in the feds. Yeah, Butcher does actually have a CIA contact, though he was reluctant to use her. They're gonna take down Vought, expose the whole conspiracy, but it's too late. Another supervillain terrorist has just emerged. They need Vought now. The government rushes through the bill, letting Homelander into the military where he can slaughter terrorists as gruesomely as he wants, and Sergeant Homelander has saved the day. Yeah, we assume Madeline was the architect of this Compound V supervillain conspiracy, but turns out she didn't even know about it. It was Homelander! So with the Vought investigation shut down, this leaves the boys high and dry, especially because Mesmer has just blabbed to Homelander. He now knows exactly who they are. He gives Starlight the bad news. Your new boyfriend's a villain who's been using you. In fact, he's the one who killed Translucent, and he wants to arrest him, but Huey's like, no, I'm sorry, I was kind of using you, but I also really do love you. Also, we're the good guys, the real villains are Vought and the other supers. She's not ready to hear this yet, but she confronts her mom and finds out, yeah, she wasn't chosen by God, she was injected with sketchy drugs, and her whole life's been a lie. The other boys get caught, but Huey's got a plan to save him, getting himself captured, but smuggling in his 7th grade retainer, so they break out, though it's short-lived. But flash of light, yeah, who's here to save him? It's Starlight, full superhero mode.
Like you said, I'm a superhero.
A-Train shows up and it's a superhero fight. He's real fast, but not faster than light. Except I guess he kind of is because he knocks her down and he's about to kill Huey, but oh, he's been juicing too hard, having a heart attack right now. Huey's like, yo, I know he wants to kill me, but we're the good guys. Let's call him an ambulance. Billy Butcher, meanwhile, on his own solo mission, turns out his beef is with Homelander personally. Back when he was clean-shaven, he had a wife named Becca and they were very much in love. In fact, she worked for Vought. She was Homelander's social media manager. But 8 years ago, she mysteriously disappeared, and according to the evidence he found, Homelander raped and killed her. But now Homelander investigates too, talking to the old doctor that raised him, because he didn't kill Rebecca. What happened to her? Turns out she got pregnant with the Homelander baby. Didn't survive the birth though, and Vought swept it under the rug to protect Homelander. But now Butcher's captured Madeline to lure Homelander out. He's like, you killed the woman I love, now I'm gonna kill the woman you love. But Homelander's like, yo, love is a very strong word for this mere mortal, especially one who's been lying to me. Yeah, he asked her about Butcher's wife also, but her and the doctor's stories were slightly off. And so the one person Homelander maybe cared about, oh, he lasers her in the face. Butcher's like, well, guess the jig's up then, and boom, blows himself up, but he survives. Homelander grabbed him and flew him to safety. He's like, hey man, I want you to see this. You're gonna flip. Turns out his son survived. Oh man, a mini Homelander. He's been raised by his mom, Becca Butcher. Yes, the woman you dedicated your life to avenging is alive and well. And that's how season 1 of The Boys comes to an end. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button. I'm bringing you the best recaps of TV and movies, so don't miss out.